Now, the point of this is, you're making it hard for yourself by using this method. You could look it up in the dictionary, get a definition immediately. However, what you now have to do is work out what is common. Unhappy, good. That's a good start.
Hungry.
Angry, yeah.
Like donkey.
Huh? Like a donkey, yes. In English we say this phrase, as stubborn as a mule. Look at the expression. Yes, yes. Let's look at this. I don't want to listen. Yes.
Forced.
Put your hand with straw man.
Forced. It has got to do with being forced. Yes. Someone's forcing this person, this kid, and what's their reaction? Do they want to do it?
No.
Stay in place.
Stay in the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? They're all doing that, aren't they? That's stubborn. I don't think I have to describe it any further, you know. Okay, so by looking at this, maybe this, you create a hypothesis, you create a little theory. I think I'm right. Then look at them more, confirm the hypothesis, you've got it. If you do want to check it, go to a dictionary and check. But because you've done that work, that guessing work, you've processed it, you've got lots of images. My guess is you'll remember that word much better than if you just went straight to the dictionary. Okay? So that's, I guess, the key strategy for today is use Google image and make yourself a little puzzle, basically, with every word, and then try to solve the puzzle. Some you won't be able to solve. So, okay, look them up. But do that work first. Okay, just 1 second. The attendance sheets are here. Okay, someone come in late? Anybody else not written there? Contact details down there if you could. All right, that's that one. Now we've got a couple more. One more. Deluded. Last one. Deluded. I've got the pictures here. Delusion. It's a bit harder this way. Alright, what we're noticing, there's been a few of these, self-deluded. There's some self-delusion going on with some of these. Hard one. What's that?
Delusion.
Yeah, delusion. We could use the noun. Anyway, alright, let's go with the noun and see what we get. Good idea. Okay, yeah. This is a clue. What about this?
Okay. Imagine.
Imagine, right. Is it true?
Wrong perception.
Wrong perception, right. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So, and you can be deluded about yourself. Self-delusion. So this is a little trickier. We had to go to the noun, and you have to know the noun like you did Puzzle. So this is a little bit of a harder one. It doesn't always work perfectly. But even then, delusion, my guess is now you know it, you probably see this sort of image in your mind. That's how you remember it. Okay, all we're doing here with this strategy is in a minute or two, we're speeding up the process by which you learn your first language. You know, when you're about 3 or 4, somebody uses a word, and then a few days later they use the word again, and a few days later again. And just even unconsciously, you kind of connect what's common about that, don't you? And after a month or two, you got the word. Now, all we're doing here is sort of having those experiences really quickly. We're looking at each one of these, and we're trying to form a hypothesis, figure it out, guess, we're not really sure. Okay, little kids didn't go to the dictionary and look it up. Oh, I'm having now. Adults want to though. But that's okay, just guess and don't even check it, leave it. And wait till you see that word again. That's what I try to do. If I'm reading like in French or whatever, I read and read, and about once every 3 months I use the dictionary. Because I guess. And if I think, no, I'm not sure about that, all right, I'll just leave it. I keep reading, and if you read a lot, you'll see that word again in a week or two. And then you get more clues. And then after about 6 or 7, oh, right, I think I know that word. Sometimes you read and you get to 15 or 20 and you're still, I'm just not sure. Okay, dictionary. But that's after a month or two. And that way, you're reproducing the way you learnt your best language. This is what we need to do with learning this language. Try to reproduce the strategies and the conditions of when you learnt your first, which is probably your best language. You know, the human brain is incredibly evolved, very, very efficiently, remarkably, and we don't really understand fully why, how rather, to grasp language. So, in natural conditions. So if we can reproduce those conditions of early childhood as much as possible as adults and use similar strategies like that, you'll remember better, you'll learn more effectively, etc. Right? That's, I think, the key thing we need to do. And that, but we can use nice IT resources to sort of speed that up and assist us as well. Alright, so that's a demonstration of a strategy around new vocabulary. I'm going to now just hand over to you to talk about this first argument, right? The argument that Eagleton is going to rebut. I'll read it once again and then hand over to you and your group. Marxism, everybody got a copy? And can you join the group, please? Because we'll grab a chair here. We'll go into discussion for a few minutes. Marxism is finished. It might conceivably have had some relevance to a world of factories and food riots. Now you know these words. Hopefully it's clearer. Coal miners and chimney sweeps. Widespread misery and mass working classes. But it certainly has no bearing on the increasingly classless, socially mobile, post-industrial Western societies of the present. It is the creed of those who are too stubborn, fearful, or deluded to accept that the world has changed for good in both senses of the term. Alright, in order to understand the rest of the chapter, we've got to understand what Eagleton is arguing against. Okay? So I'm going to hand it over to you for 10 minutes or so, 15, to just dig away at that and ask each other and be very clear, you know, what's going on? Do you understand the argument? What are the key arguments in that little section there? It's quite dense, quite packed in. What are the key points that person is making? Now we've Google image searched the words and you understand them. What's the argument? Okay, over to you for 10. And so this is talking time, right? Discussion. Okay, so with the larger tables, probably the better thing to do is break up into little groups of 4s and 3s. You'll get more talking going on. Probably 5 is fine, 3s, that's good. Okay? So have a chat about that section. What are the arguments? What's this imaginary person saying?
And